Max only believes in when he sees it.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's got to be cold hard facts for Max to believe. So it's really difficult to hear some of this episode sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Max
that's well
is
played, Mark.
seeking to believe.
Well
Has
played,
to see it to believe it. Yeah.
He doesn't believe anything on fate. I want everyone to know that in the Patreon.
Yep.
Not
That's
one
what we
thing.
just-
I love that
takes
that's
on
not
fate.
even close to true, but I do love the okie doke there. Well done. Hey, welcome to the Infinity Bros podcast, the only podcast that is perfectly balanced as all things should be. I am your host, Max Mosier, here today with you to talk about the newest Superman movie. I'm here with two of our other rotating 6 Infinity Bro member cast. First, he is returning from his hiatus of opening packs and being awesome. Give it up for Robbie Sauter. Robbie, how are you?
Oh, I am great. Very, very happy to be here. I'm glad we got our contract dispute settled. They're now paying me $34 million per episode to be on the Infinity Bros. So I'm happy to be here. You're welcome. Continue.
He made a deal with Mephisto, but thankfully somebody got to the bottom of that. It's Infinity Bro Mark. Mark Jones, how are you?
I'm doing great. Now I'm trying to think that you said that. What did Robbie have to give up to get that contract?
A little bit of a spoiler for the Ironheart show, but I don't care. Nobody watched.
It wasn't a spoiler until you said it. No one even knew. No one even knew the connection until you said it.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, Mephisto's an
You
Ironheart.
just wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
no spoiler. I'm not even giving a spoiler warning for it. That's how edgy we are on this show. Mark, how are you? You doing
How
okay?
punk rock that is.
Very punk rock of me. Very punk rock.
I'm a punk rock. Yeah, good song.
Well, welcome to the Infinity Bros podcast. If this is the first time that you're checking us out, we are grateful you're here. Feel free to follow us at the Infinity Bros on all social media platforms. Shoot us an email at infinitybrospodcast@gmail.com. If you enjoy Magic the Gathering, Robbie Sauter, Robert Redbeard, give him a follow. Check out some pack openings. This guy is the cat's meow of Magic the Gathering people. I do say so myself. And if you love a good conspiracy theory in the world of Marvel Cinematic Universe or other comic books, may I recommend a copious amount of links that are in the show notes of this to listen to Mark and I talk about different types of shows and or movies, as well as Isaac Edlund, Zane Ellis, and Jarrett Curtis. We're here to talk today about Superman, a little superhero. I don't know if you guys have heard of him. Very exciting week. This movie was released last week on July 11th. We're recording on July 14th. This little movie that, is just, jump starting the DC cinematic universe, led by director and current, what's his title? What's James Gunn's title with DC?
The dude.
Now? Daddy.
Presidente.
Papa DC.
Sure. Well, he's directing this one. It's the first one. It's the first one of the DC universe. There are connections to other things we'll talk about a little later before we get into spoilers of this movie. And it stars David Cornsweet, Alan Tudyk, and Grace Chan, as well as a couple others. I don't want to spoil that one.
Should probably talk about the guy who plays Lex, right? Did you say him?
Yeah, well, I'm trying not to. I'm looking at my list and trying not to do the spoilers. You know what I'm saying here? Trying not to do spoilers. Nicholas Hoult plays Lex Luthor, and then it's ordered weird on IMDb.
Yeah, Nicholas Hoult should be like 2.
You'd think that would be at the top, but yeah. Rachel Brosnahan plays Lois Lane. She's delightful in this one. And then Skylar Gizondo plays Jimmy Olsen. Those will be the cast that I speak on today before we get into the spoiler portion of this. A couple fun trivia facts about this, guys. Did you know that Will Reeves, the son of Christopher Reeve, was in this movie?
Yep.
Plays a television news reporter. In real life, he is an ABC News correspondent. And there's also 2 other things that kind of give away some spoilers, so I'm going to wait to hold off on those, but I wanted to make sure we touched on the Will Reeves cameo. Before we get into the spoiler portion of this episode, We aren't going to spoil it. We're glad you're here giving us a download and listen. We do want to give a non-spoiler rating for those that maybe are on the fence about seeing it or just looking for some extra opinions on this. So we're going to go ahead briefly and talk about some non-spoiler ratings. But before we do that, we want to make sure you're familiar with our rating system and how we rate things on this show.
Here on the Infinity Bros podcast, everything is ranked from a 0 to 6 point scale. 0 meaning horrible, and 6 meaning absolutely excellent. If all of the Infinity Bros rank something a 6, it gets an Infinity Step.
Robbie, go ahead and give us your non-spoiler rating review of Superman that was released on July 11th.
Non-spoiler rating and review. Superman was a lot of fun, had a lot of heart, very colorful. CGI could use some work, I think, if we're giving some critiques that we had. The characters are all enjoyable, and I think they're very comic book accurate, and I think comic book accuracy is a big theme for this film. To give it just a short review before getting to spoilers, I will just give you my rating. My rating, and I keep going back and forth, so I'm just going to split the difference, is a 5.25 for Superman, the movie 2025.
There's a 2 hour and 9 minute runtime on this. James Gunn is the writer. Also, Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, creators of Superman, get writing credits on this as well. Mark, what is your non-spoiler review briefly and rating of Superman?
I'll say this. It was really fun going with my nephew. And I think it was really fun seeing, a kid's reaction to this movie and how much he enjoyed it. I could say what Robbie said. I felt like all the comic book accuracy was pretty spot on with characters and just the vibe. I love that we had a little tease of, are we going to have a Justice League, a Justice Society, a Justice League of America type of thing going on. One big part I really enjoyed with this movie is, we were just thrown in to, an already existing universe with characters. It wasn't an origin story. They did a little, just like a comic book, they did a little bit of origin stuff through other characters just to catch anyone up. Just kind of like it was your first comic book. Here's your first comic book. Here's some characters you might know. Here's a little background we'll throw in there for you. I thought they did a great, probably the best. I might be too bold saying this. I think they did the best portrayal of what a supervillain should look like in this movie. I think what Nicholas Hoult did to pull out emotion, how you should feel about someone who is actually a supervillain. I thought James Gunn, Nicholas Hoult, writing, whatever, did a great job there. My rating of this, 6 out of 6. Maybe I'm biased. People say I'm a woke person, probably. I didn't see the wokeness, but I loved it. I will not apologize for that. I'll fight anybody.
No, that's okay. You don't have to apologize for it. Little extra piece of trivia. My mother told me that this movie was going to be woke when I went into it, and I rolled. So there you go. Little fun piece of trivia there. Shout out to my mom. I really liked this movie. I thought it was really good. I love what you said, Mark, about how this is like a comic book movie come to life. I think this movie really solidifies James Gunn being one of the premier comic book movie makers ever. I also think, Robbie, I think you have some fair points of CGI. I think this is a very bloated movie for it being a kickoff for a universe. I would have liked to see, I didn't need an origin, but I would have liked to see a little more slow burn world building. And there's some decisions that they made that I wasn't fully grasping the first time I saw it. But overall, I had a great time. This is so much fun. It's nice to watch a DC Universe movie that is really enjoyable and takes itself lightheartedly. And Superman's such a beloved character to me. I did enjoy the Man of Steel movies. I wouldn't call myself a Snyder bro, but I thought the Man of Steel movie did a great job of talking about Superman. So this movie had a lot of work to do for me, but I'm going to give it a 5 out of 6. I think this was a really great movie. I really enjoyed it. I look forward to seeing it again. I think there's things I missed. I would recommend you go see this if you're on the fence of it. Mark, you made a joke about the woke thing. I then followed up with a joke of my own, but I think that is a criticism I'm seeing that, okay, yeah, there's certain parts that you could say that, but I just don't think that's fair. I think this movie is well written and well done, and there's a lot of fun things doing, and there's a lot of things setting up for the future. So I think the DC universe is well on its way with this movie. So we're going to go ahead and get into spoilers from this point on. So if you have not seen Superman, we're going to go ahead and say thank you for listening to us. Come on back when you're done seeing the movie. But we're going to now transition into our spoiler warning.
This is
Prepare yourself.
and Infinity Bros.
Prepare yourself.
Spoiler warning.
Spoiler warning.
All right. Let's talk about this movie, and how I've wanted to break it up is really with it being an introduction movie. How I'm going to kind of go through it is through characters and through key moments. And so what I wanted to start with, which is just pretty on the nose, but it's obvious, is what did we think of David Cornsweet's portrayal of this Superman in comparison to other historic Supermen?
I guess I'll start. I would say he did a very good job of portraying Superman in 2025, especially with a lot of the new comics that came out from New 52 and moving forward. This felt like those Supermans come to life. Um, can't really take anything away from what other Supermans have done in the past. I think there hasn't been a Superman that I just despise. I think Brandon Routh got the short end of the stick with writing, and I think he himself was fine as Superman as well. So I think for today's day and age, I think uh, so very very well done Superman. I think he did a good job balancing Superman and Clark Kent because that's what you have to look at it through. Because I think with a guy like Henry Cavill, who I absolutely love and adore, he's very unbelievable as like this goofball dude in the office because he's just so jacked and has like the most chiseled face you've ever seen. That's like, yeah, everyone can tell that you like, and like they did a bad job. Looking back at pictures now, it's like he didn't even change his hair. Like he wore his hair the same. It's like so. It's like it didn't make sense. Where this portrayal was done much better and much more balanced to make a Clark Kent and to make a Superman. So for 2025, this I think probably one of the best Supermans we could have got. They did a really good job with the writing. He did a really good job with the acting. So
The mop hair when he's Clark Kent was really funny too.
yeah,
I thought it was a nice touch.
right.
Mark, what'd you think of Cornsweet? Obviously, you give this a 6 out of 6, so you must have really liked it.
I mean, my big thing I would say is this is better than the Superman Clark Kent combo that we got with Christopher Reeve, where I thought he did a really great job of balancing both Clark Kent and Superman, where he's like super goofy and clumsy, and then you got pretty brave, bold Superman. But with him, it was, I think Robbie's right. This Superman definitely takes from the New 52, where he's a little more, I don't know what the right word is, like not as brooding or menacing. He's literally like more down to earth and more realistic, and I think that was a great choice. I think Cornsweet did a great job holding the mantle of both Superman and Clark Kent. So
I did find it interesting that, and this isn't Corn. I would, by the way, agree with both of you.
The last thing I wanted to say, the interesting part will be how this Superman interacts with other heroes. Like, I mean, we got interactions with other heroes, but other interactions with like whoever they cast as Wonder Woman and if they have a Batman in this universe, like the big, or even the Flash, like some of the bigger names. Like it was great seeing him interact with Guy Gardner and Hawkgirl and Mr. Terrific, but that's that was the first time for all of us to see that on the live screen, so that was just brand new.
Right.
Yeah, I think the New 52 piece of feedback is fair, and I also think I think this is a more emotional Superman. And here's what I mean by that. This is a more outgoing with his emotions when he's wearing the cape.
He's a millennial Superman. He grew up with anxiety and depression. This is
and
the American way.
And it worked sometimes, but it didn't work all the time for me. Like the conflict with Lois at the beginning is really interesting to me because it sets the stage for this is what the world thinks of him right now. This is the conflict that's happening, and we'll get into that here a little later. But I don't know if Superman's having all these emotional outbursts, and I do understand the context is it's Lois, it's his safe person, it's the one person that he would expect to have his 6 no matter what. Mm-hmm. But that part did mess with me a little bit. And but one piece of feedback I heard from a friend that I thought was really interesting is they said that this movie makes the same mistake that Man of Steel did. in letting Superman have this inner conflict in this in this tough, use the word brooding, Mark, like this conflict of what is his past, and his parents sent him to Earth to actually have dominion over this planet, which was a nice wrinkle. We'll talk about that. Did you feel like that? I'm hearing you say that was a win, Mark, but Robbie, did you feel like for you that didn't pan out as much as a Superman fan? Because you both are two of the biggest DC fans I know. So do you feel like even that's just a pull from New 52 and you accept that, whether you like it or not, or are you like, I'm not gelling with it fully? What was your thoughts, Robbie?
I guess Superman having that inner conflict and then having conflict with his peers makes more sense. I think what the New 52 brought to Superman more than I think past years before that was more of a human side to it, which we kind of saw at the end of this one. I think, to your point, Max, I don't think this movie did a very good job setting up Superman for some of those more emotionally centered scenes. Um, Especially, I mean, we can talk about it at the end too, but like the end scene where it's like, okay, then it's like the song at the end where he's watching all of these videos of him and his family. It's like, you guys kind of picked at that during the movie, but it's like, but then you made the whole end like that's what the movie was about. And it's like, well, that seemed like kind of a stretch, but no, I think that inner turmoil that I'm an alien, but I'm a human thing that he had to then deal with, and then spat out to Lex about how he is both, or he's the most human among them, was interesting moves by them, and I think that was very, very new comic book stuff that they've been trying with Superman to try to humanize him more.
I thought that take one step forward every day and do my best. That didn't land with me, and I think I'm in a minority on that one. That ending monologue with Lex, that whole scene didn't land with me. That's not saying I don't like the movie, and it's not saying how it got there was fine. I just thought that scene didn't work for me. And to your credit, Robbie, I don't think they did enough to sell me on Superman's conflict from, I was raised to think this message was the way. Now I think it's the couple in Kansas that defines who I am. I think they had a little more heavy lifting, and that's because this, in my opinion, is a bloated movie. There's a lot going on in it.
Yeah,
to
I agree with
things
that.
they're looking on. Lex Luthor. Thoughts on him, Mark?
I thought he was great. They pulled a lot of emotion from me. I thought Nicholas Hoult hit this out of the park as a Lex. I thought we got our best Lex here. The dude is just an insane rich person that like has some egomaniac complex within him, and then thinks that he's doing the best because because of his ego so big. And I thought the part that really got me like just riled up is when he brings us into the what do they call it, the side dimension, and he has
Gap Universe, or
yeah,
it was
there you
called.
go, and has Metamorphose or Element Man's child. And I was like, this dude is willing to kill a baby to get what he wants. And I was like, this dude is like, oh man, it just like threw me up a wall. I was like, I want to skin this dude alive. That's how much I hated Lex Luthor here. So yeah, I thought it was great. I thought he did a good job.
Go ahead, Robbie.
I will give a hot take here. I think Nicholas Hoult and Jesse Eisenberg played the same Lex. I don't think there's much of a difference between them besides the rest of the movie around them.
Interesting. Do you think it's just how they did it that was a little
Yes, go back and watch how Jesse Eisenberg was in the Justice League movies.
Sure.
He's the same chaotic, like, egotistical maniac. It just didn't work in how serious those movies were. I think if you put him in this movie, it's the same thing. I really don't see that much of a difference between the two. And like, I've seen a lot of people say what Mark is saying, like, Nicholas Holt's an amazing Lex. He's the same Lex that everyone hated. That's what I took from it. And I didn't mind. I actually like Jesse Eisenberg's Lex, so I like Nicholas Holt's Lex too. I just think people were so critical about how Jesse did it, and now it's like amazing how Nicholas did it, when they're both extremely smart extremely egotistical, do ridiculous, crazy things just because they hate Superman, and they both talk really fast to try to get all these words out and sound like the smartest person in the room. They played the same Lex. Maybe I'm crazy, and maybe I need to go back and watch Justice League, but I think if you put that Jesse Eisenberg Lex Luthor in this, it's the same movie. I don't think it changes a single thing.
I think Eisenberg was a little more caricature. I do think your point about tone is fair. I think for me, what separates Nicholas Hoult and Eisenberg here, aside from the hair, is I felt like Eisenberg was just kind of doing the Zuckerberg, Elon Musk kind of multi-billionaire shtick. I felt like Holt was really leaning into like, no, I'm doing this, and they both hate Superman, but I'm purely doing this out of envy and hatred, to the point that the writing even says, of course I'm envious. Don't be ridiculous. Like, I don't know if you've seen the meme, but it's like, you're just a hater, and it's like, you're gosh darn right I am. Like, that's not the verbiage it puts on there, but I think you're fair in saying that they're both very out of the box, very boisterous, performative, speaking fast, using crazy, bombastic ways, of getting their point across. But I thought Holt did well here, and I didn't think I.
That's the thing. I'm not taking anything away from Holt. I just think, I think it's just the double standard of both, and just how one can play in a different type of movie. Because obviously in the Justice League movies, like, it just didn't play very well because it was so different from the rest of the vibe of the film.
Did we like Lois Lane in this? I think this is a very important character to the lore of Superman. Do we feel like this is a Lois Lane we can hang with for a long time?
This feels like a Lois Lane that if they did a Flashpoint, I would fully believe that she has a gun and is like hunting down different like Amazonians or
100%.
Atlanteans. Like I'm totally behind that. I'll do you one better. What I really liked in this portrayal of a DC movie of Superman, we didn't really sexualize any of the characters, any of the big characters, like the superheroes.
I was just
there's one.
No,
there's definitely one.
There's definitely one. I mean, like, we didn't get like a shirtless Superman. We didn't need that. We didn't have Lois Lane in some.
You're telling me I didn't need shirtless Henry Cavill?
We did at the time.
Get out of here.
We needed it.
I did.
2013.
We needed it,
but we didn't need it this go around 12 years later. So that's where I just think that helped the whole vibe of the series. Like, yes, there was a character that was a little bit more overtly sexualized, but like, you know, it wasn't Superman or Lois Lane that, you know, we kept.
And it wasn't like completely out of the blue, because that's kind of how her character is in the comics.
But yes, I would say Lois Lane, that she played, or I keep on calling her Miss Maisel because that's what she played in the Amazon show. I thought she did a great job. I really enjoyed this Lois Lane. I hope we get more. I hope we do get an actual Flashpoint movie and get to see her chops. So,
I thought Rachel Brosnahan was one of the best. Great foil to this. I really liked her. I thought I loved how she's driving the ship at the end of the movie and writing the article at the same time,
right?
Telling Jimmy what to write. I thought that was brilliant. Another piece of trivia I wanted to share. So, did you get the Hypno Glasses reference? This actually is a real Superman piece of lore from Superman number 330, 1978. It's rarely addressed in movies, but Lois Lane and Guy Gardner reference this. It is a reason why people can't recognize Clark when he's wearing his glasses, and James Gunn decided to make this canon. I thought that was a hilarious scene as well.
And that's something that just needed to be said in a movie.
Yeah,
because I think a lot of comic book people already knew that, but it had never been said in a movie, and everyone's like, "What? How do they not tell?" They're like the Henry Cavill thing that I talked about earlier. It's like, that's obviously Superman. Like, if that would have been said in that movie, it's like, oh, okay, that may now it can I can at least accept, like, okay, people just see him differently because it's magic or whatever it is. But they actually said it in this movie, so it works and it makes sense. And now it's out there, and now more people can know what it is.
Also, on both of that note, I did enjoy that. Like, we just already went to the world where Lois Lane and Superman have been dating, so we didn't need a reveal. And same thing with like the Justice Gang, when she goes to them and she's like trying to like explain. Guy Gardner's like, yeah, we know Clark Kent Superman. Like
Oh
we
yeah,
already
yeah,
know,
that
like,
whole conversation.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like I love that we didn't get like a reveal of the two.
Yeah.
Like everyone that needed to know already knew, and then
Mhm.
we'd have to have that as part of the story.
We'll get to the universe more in a little bit of what we think will come in the future, but to your point too, Mark, it's just so nice that this universe doesn't need to flesh out where every hero is along the way. They explained it really quick on the front end. 300 years ago, gods and men, there's metahumans on this planet. Here we go. Superman just lost his fight. I thought that was a really
makes you wonder who the first one was.
Yeah, I'm really
That's where
gonna be a lot
my
of fun.
brain was like,
Yeah,
this seems like something that could be played on later.
yeah. There's gonna be a lot of fun with that. We'll get to some of the fan favorites here in a little bit, but I do want to get some side characters, their moment in the sun. Just while we're on the topic of Lois, Jimmy Olsen, I thought was hilarious. I love that he was like the ladies' man. I thought that was a great turn on this character, and the fact that he was able to get Eve's information very quickly with just one text. Some people called it cheap. I think it was funny and well played.
I liked it.
I liked how like it kind of showed like was Eve doing it on purpose as like a way to blackmail or get out of a situation. So I love that.
Which it clearly was, which is great.
Well, yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying. That's what's awesome about it. Like it literally was her doing this to make sure if she had to get out, she had a way out.
When they kind of showed her at the beginning or whatever taking photos, and you're like, what is this stupid? Like, what is she doing here?
I thought she was like a contact creator for Luthor Corp. That's why I released.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought too. Is like this feels like so out of place. I don't get why this chick is here. And then it like became a very big deal why she was around and taking photos all the time. And that's what James Gunn does such a good job of. Is like nothing is pointless in a James Gunn movie. There's some sort of meaning behind it.
Sure.
Usually.
We knew about Crypto the dog, but I thought this was such a huge win for this movie.
Crypto it was Grayson's very favorite part. We took Grayson. Yeah. He loved it. Every time Crypto was there, kid couldn't stop laughing.
I don't know about the movie theaters you went to. We went to the Imagine Theater in Willow Park, like in Plymouth, and they had one left. It was a Crypto popcorn bucket, where it's like Crypto and like in his mouth. So we got that because my nephew was like, "Oh, this is awesome." So just made me think of that. I think that was a good ploy for kids. Where having the super dog there, Crypto, going right off of Super Pets. So like those kids who saw Super Pets a few years ago are probably old enough now to come see this movie. So
yeah, and then I think a lot of people are going to talk about the Justice Gang. We'll get to them in a sec, but I want to make sure Metamorpho is said.
It's part of the Justice Gang at the end.
Yeah, he's at the end part, but I think he'll get missed if I say just Justice Gang.
Sure.
So I thought Metamorpho. I like that they played off of him being able to create kryptonite. Finding out that the planet doesn't have kryptonite on it was an interesting wrinkle.
Whoa, hang on. The way it was said, it kind of seems like Lex might have some stockpiled somewhere.
Yeah.
And clearly Batman exists on this world. He has some.
I was just going to say, Batman's got it.
Batman has some.
People have kryptonite on this planet.
No doubt, Batman. I don't think anybody but Batman has it.
They don't know about the kryptonite, but it's out there.
Yeah. Justice Gang, Green Lantern, Guy Gardner, we've alluded to him, Hawk Girl, and then I think the fan favorite universally on the internet is Mr. Terrific right now.
100%. Easy win.
That was such a great get. Gathegi is just such a great actor. I really like him in a lot of films. He's great in For All Mankind too. Man, what a win for this guy. And thoughts on Green Lantern, Mr. Terrific, and Hawk Girl, guys? What were your thoughts?
I was a little hesitant. Like, why are they going with Guy Gardner, Green Lantern in this? And I feel like he almost stole the movie for me, where I just enjoyed when he was on. So I was really up for that.
Nathan Fillion, man.
Yeah,
that's just Nathan Fillion.
And that's what was great about it too. Like, out of everyone, Nathan Fillion's not playing Hal Jordan Green Lantern. He's playing Guy Gardner, the one that's kind of like an a-hole the whole run. Which then perfect. I don't know if it was in the movie where someone, like, if the news refers to him as Green Lantern Guy Gardner or something like that. So like obviously we know that there's gonna be a Lantern show, but like we're in a DCU where there's 3 lanterns from Earth currently, if they're gonna name them like that. So I think that'll be interesting to get that more fleshed out. We got Hawk Girl, and I thought the actress that played her did great. I loved what they did with her, which then also leads us to like there's going to be a Hawk Man at some point. And whether
Yep.
I would love if they brought to not ruffle feathers for Robbie, if they brought the dude back who played Hawkman in Black Adam, if they could bring him back as Hawkman,
Oh, that's fine. Yeah.
I'd be okay with
I
that.
have said the JSA in that movie is great. It's everything else about that movie I hate.
And they're bringing Peacemaker back.
Yeah.
Well, we knew that was going to happen, but yeah.
Well, and that's another thing. If you want to tidbit or dive into that, it's like, are we getting Peacemaker that we knew, or is there going to be some type of like universe shift where this?
I don't think James is going to waste time on it.
Okay.
You know,
well, it'll be interesting.
I think because that was like a one little snippet of a show. I don't think he needs to waste time on it, in my opinion, but maybe he could.
I think he'll do some goofy way of him switching places with the other one, and that'll
or
be
just
it.
like John Cena. I think John Cena could just like not really break the fourth wall, but just be like, "What the hell are you talking about? I don't remember what. This is Superman."
Or you do,
or it'll be
universe.
Or it'll be like, no, it was dark. I couldn't tell anyone's face. Like something like that. It'll be something stupid, and that's how they'll fix it. Because that's the James Gunn way to just like make it the dumbest, easiest thing you can do and move on.
Yeah, well, I mean, in this movie, it was the pocket universe. Oh yeah, they're in a pocket universe.
Yeah,
like,
what do you mean? Don't worry about it.
What do you mean? Don't worry about it. They're just
convoluted thing. Yep,
he's got a bunch of monkeys typing and spelling hashtag super shit.
You had and with that, like in that pocket universe, what other people are in there? But moving on, going back.
We'll go back to the pocket universe.
I'm gonna go back to Mr. Terrific. The one superhero I was so like, I have no idea what they're gonna do here. Like he was on the Arrowverse and it was like, yeah, okay, that's that. He was nice there, but like, how are you gonna bring that character to like the cinema? And I think a lot of people are right. Like that character brought that movie, gave it more life. I felt like with him and just kind of the smart man to kind of figure everything out. I thought it was great. So I'm really excited to see more Mr. Terrific. He's basically, I said this to my nephews, like he's almost like Tony Stark without the Iron Man suit, but he's got his robotics instead that kind of help him out versus a whole body suit.
Yeah, see, and I was comparing him to Michael Rooker's character from Guardians of the Galaxy. Like his ability was very similar to the whistle with the arrows. I felt like, and I loved that, by the way. I'm not saying it was bad. I think it was like those two characters combined, Iron Man and that, and he fits great into this world. I love his personality. I love the foil to Guy Gardner. Guy's like this egotistical, pompous guy. And Mr. Terrific is brilliant and annoyed, and they have to deal with each other, and it's just a necessary relationship.
It's one of those things like Mr. Terrific is really the leader. He just doesn't want to be the leader.
Yeah,
Guy just if they do anything, it's because Mr. Terrific says, "Yeah, let's do that."
And the thing that, and I go back to that 300 years ago line at the beginning. One thing that Guy Gardner does this great scene where he's eating cereal, watching TV. And seeing conflict, right? This is a universe that Marvel sometimes, when people show up, they're like, oh my gosh. And like DC's kind of saying, no, we're the opposite. We're used to this.
Well, that was was that not like the funniest thing where we saw the pictures when we first saw the picture of Superman, there was the big giant space alien in the back. Everyone thought that was the big bad. And like we get this whole scene, and it's like Superman's just like, nah, those guys got it. Yeah, doesn't even fight this thing. The Justice Gang does. That thing had nothing to do with the entire freaking movie.
And that scene was great because Lois Lane's like constantly like looking over, like because
looking over like
human.
Okay,
it's like I got stuff to talk about. I just am sad.
Yeah, that was talk about a just sending everyone for a loop. That's a big. Huge like applaud to James Gunn because a lot of the images that we were getting for this movie came from that scene and that area.
Who would have thought not giving up the plot of the whole movie makes your movie better?
That's wild.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? Who would have thought? The one thing I'll say with the Justice Gang that I didn't like, and not that I didn't like the character, I liked Hawk Girl. Why did they make her scream?
I loved that
1 billion times
because that's what she does.
No, She does not scream every time she breathes.
No, she's
Like
not.
to announce her to announce her incoming, cool, perfect, fine. But then they just kept having her scream. She
Oh, she only
probably screamed.
screamed when she was chasing people while flying.
No, she was always screaming. She was screaming all the time.
She was
She
talking
probably
about talking. She wasn't screaming all the time.
she was screaming all the time when she was flying. She just kept screaming, and it was annoying. It bothered me and it bothered Jess. We were both there. We were like, why does she keep screaming?
Robbie didn't like the screaming. You heard it here first.
That was the only thing with her. I was like, why do they keep doing it? It was like,
Yeah.
announce your presence, go pick up the guy, whatever. Then they're like, brah, brah,
That's what she does in the
brah.
You're gonna comic book accurate hot girl. Now you're mad.
It was bad. It was dumb.
I need
It
less
was
screaming.
unnecessary.
You know,
It was distracting.
The movie was clearly woke because there was so much screaming from hot
Yeah.
girl.
You know what? Now I'm dropping it to a 5.
You know what? Let's get into the woke feedback, Mark. Because the woke feedback is in reference to the conflict that happens between the two countries in this movie. And,
Israel and Palestine?
Well, here's the thing. This was written
Well,
a
it's
year
not a
ago.
country
So
that you
it
just
probably
said.
would be more Russia and Ukraine, if anything. I look, I just didn't see it in this. I saw two countries that had conflict. I saw two countries that one was clearly oppressing the other one. It was fictional. I think it's a little on the nose and a little too. I think it's a little too cute to think it would have to do with what's going on.
Well, it'd be
today.
different if the country that was poor also had weapons that were, of the United States or another country. That'd be more on the nose. But they didn't have any weapons.
And I think the
pitchforks.
conflict, though, to me, Robbie, the Justice Gang feedback I've got is I would have really liked to see Superman try to do both things at the same time and then have the Justice Gang come save the day. I just think the Justice Gang did too much in this movie. I think they were in too many scenes, and I would have liked to dial that back a little bit. I really do. I feel like anytime a big threat came by, they showed up, and I was just like, "This is
Because that's what they're
Superman's
supposed to do. That's like
I think, yeah.
Okay, I agree with you. I get what you're saying.
I'm just saying
movie,
on this conflict,
but this literally
conflict,
is what we've talked about with Marvel stuff. It's like, hey, like
There's
the world's
stuff
being
happening.
destroyed and only Spider-Man's helping. Where the
Right.
hell is Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, Ant-Man? Where are all these other heroes? This literally
Sure.
showed up. Hey,
Yeah.
there's another group of people watching what's going on, and they'll come help out because it's almost like it's a huge. They want more fatalities. Like
I
that's
think,
literally
and I
what
think,
we're here.
I think what Max, I think to what you're getting to is the bloatedness of this film when it says Superman, but there's so much else happening. But I think what we're going to get, because in comic books, like a Superman comic can have 4 or 5 heroes, but Marvel has gone the way it's like, no, this is a Spider-Man movie. Like you might get a little bit of Iron Man, but he's not helping. Like he's gone. He's in Abu
It's
Dhabi
going
or whatever.
back
Like where this is like, because I agree with you, Max. I thought was Superman was going to try to do both. That's what I thought was going to happen.
That would have been really cool, and then I would have loved for Superman to be in Metropolis, and he's like realizing I'm not going to get back in time to stop this, and then the Justice Gang got it. And I think there. I'm not saying, Mark, for clarity, you are right. That is a great point of like Marvel does miss that. I wanted the conflict of Superman to figure out where is he going to go. I wanted him to internally go, am I going to Metropolis or am I going here?
If this was year 1 Superman, yes. But we got to remember this is year 3. Like this is a Superman that understands that he has other people that can help. And I think that was kind of, even for us who are more versed in comic book stuff, that's a little more difficult to grasp when you're watching the movie.
And I think he realized, like, hey, the issue in Metropolis was a world-ending issue.
Absolutely.
Right, and that's why Superman answers
choice.
world-ending issues. The other guys can handle that, even though people are probably going to die.
Yeah. I'm saying it's bloated. I'm not saying it's bad. There's a huge difference there.
I agree. That's
part
of my review. Like there is a little too much going on.
But here's the thing. Here's the blessing, though, Mark. Here's the blessing of this. Iron Man is kind of like one of the peak movies for Marvel. Like to this day, there are some people who are like, Iron Man's its best movie. This universe doesn't have to worry about contending with that first movie. Like Man of Steel, I think Man of Steel was the best movie in that whole series.
Mhm.
And every movie had to try to go get Man of Steel and meet it at the rim. This universe does not need to do that. And I think that's a good thing for this universe because I think the pieces are in place. I heard, I forget who said it. Somebody made a great point that Nolan did this with the Batman movies. Batman Begins was good, but he didn't use big villains. He used like kind of the side villains. He used Scarecrow. So then when he did bring Joker into the second one and he brought Two-Face in, it was like a home run slap in the face. I think that's what happened here with this Superman movie. And so that's my point. And I love that the Justice Gang is kind of, it is Guy Gardner, who nobody really thinks about when they think of Green Lantern. It is a Hawk Girl who's screaming incessantly. And then it's also this Mr. Terrific guy that I love. I think he's great in the comic, but he's so obscure that the majority of audiences don't know who he is.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's
it's
my
pretty
point.
much gonna be an introduction to everybody. But with this, I hope this movie, what it does, what I think, the DC movies prior to this and this one have obviously taken bits and pieces from Marvel and what to do differently, is now hopefully Daredevil Born Again will be like, you know what, maybe we should get those superheroes that already exist in New York to show up to help Daredevil.
We're
To do
staying on
something,
DC, Mark. As much as I'd like to talk about that, I got to keep us on DC.
Just
If
saying,
Isaac was here, he'd let you run amok.
Hopefully
I'm
we
not
get
gonna
a
do that.
Moon Knight and Spider-Man showing up in Daredevil.
I hope Moon Knight shows up in the next Superman movie. So let's talk about the Pocket Universe, Mark. One of the best bright spots of this movie, and this is where James Gunn thrives, is going to a place that is wackadoodle, off the chain, with crazy situations and scenarios. And my gosh, to watch, I don't even know what that river was. It was like a proton,
something like
negative
that. Yeah.
proton gobbledygook thing. I loved it. I love that the whole time he's trying to save a baby. I love that Crypto, who's annoying, is destroying the floating things that are trying to help them. Superman literally blows his way out of getting pulled into a black hole. Like all of it. And Mark, you nailed it. Who else is in those containers? Like I was trying to see the whole time I was looking. I couldn't see
I was
anybody that I
just,
thought
where
was.
do they poop? Who
Right.
feeds them?
Where do they
That's where
poop?
my brain went the whole time. I was like, how do these things work? I don't understand this.
Maybe you don't have to eat or poop in the Pocket Universe.
Might be right.
But having said that, I'm with you on the other side where James Gunn's also notorious for putting little things in places. Like, I bet once once we can watch it on Blu-ray or digital,
Once there's freeze frames
you can like go
of all of it,
find who's
we're
in
gonna
there.
find something. Yeah.
Yeah, and it won't
there's-
be like Wonder Woman. It'll be a very obscure.
Like Condiment King's gonna be in there.
yeah,
Yeah.
Condiment King.
Because he like annoyed Lex Luthor on the street once or
Yeah,
something.
it'll be some very obscure characters. It won't be the major ones like we.
How about in that Pocket Universe where he actually kills a guy? Like, legitimately, like, rushes
That
up
was
to
the
guy.
one scene that I was like, oh, like, and like I said, I brought my 8-year-old,
Like,
and I was like, oh, I didn't think we were gonna see that, but we did.
Right, and I do think and I said this to you guys when we were talking in our chat. I said, there's a scene where someone's murdered. That's what that scene is.
Mhm.
It's like that's the one scene that I'm like, oh man, that's tough for kids to watch. But I thought that was another reason to like Lex Luthor as a villain. I think Lex is he's like, I'll just go find Clark Kent and kill him next. Like, I love that, and I think Lex Luthor showed his evil stripes in that scene as well.
Mhm.
What did we think about let's talk about the Fortress of Solitude real quick. Fortress of Solitude, and finding out that Clark's biological parents sent him to destroy Earth.
it was
What
literally
was your reaction to this wrinkle?
oh, here's what I thought in seeing. It's like, oh, is this James Gunn's way of like giving a wink and a nod to Brightburn? Like, hey, this is what happens. That was my first thought watching. I was like, hey, this DCU almost got Brightburned, but they didn't.
Yeah,
Or how about Bradley Cooper being the Superman's father, like that?
that was cool. I liked that.
Yeah, like that.
But yeah,
I don't have much to say, but like, Fortress of Solitude is cool. I like the interaction with the robots, and I think we kind of touched on it earlier, like the whole hitting the emotional nods. I almost felt more of an emotional nod to the robots than I did to Superman or Clark Kent's parents, because we got more time with them.
right.
So it was kind of that weird like balance thing that James Gunn, I think, is very good at, like pulling heartstrings. I just don't think he pulled them for as long as he usually does, and that's why they didn't always hit for me. But like the robots are cool; those are very comic book accurate robots. Crypto's a little shit, but was a lot of fun to watch him bounce around and mess things up and be a menace the entire film.
I loved the wrinkle. I thought it was really, really sharp and smart. Mark, I did like the bright. I felt like it was a Brightburn wink too. It's funny you say that. I think we will see Bradley Cooper in the future, maybe in like the Supergirl project, perhaps. I think it'd be really cool if in Supergirl, her parents are having to fight his parents, and that's the reason why she's so messed up and she's an alcoholic now, and she's like, she loves her cousin, but her cousin comes from this crazy family. I think it would be an interesting wrinkle to add to that. What did we think of Ultraman and the clone of Superman?
I really thought that was going to be a red herring and was actually going to be Bizarro, which is, almost the same thing as Ultraman, but...
Oh, Mark, he got pulled into a black hole.
Well,
he
that's
hates
what I was
Superman.
telling.
He's kind of purple. I mean,
that's what I was telling my nephew. Like, hey, we might get him back, but he's going to be a different villain when he comes back potentially. Yeah. So, I really, I'm going to be honest with you, because I kind of had a feeling, okay, this Ultraman's going to look like him. But I was like, what if it's Henry Cavill? What if that's like the little short cameo we get is Ultraman, Bizarro in this universe is going to be played by Henry Cavill? I was like, this would just be so freaking great. But I thought they did good with Ultraman, and definitely, and this is another one where you didn't kill all the villains. All the villains are still very much alive, and will come back in some capacities. So
lately, you've been on kind of a kick lately of if they don't kill a villain, you like that.
I do, because that means they come.
I think I've been saying that too.
Robbie will.
Because Marvel kills all their villains.
Yeah,
like you can't
not,
if they're dead, you can't use them again.
Right, and it's very not comic booky to kill all your villains.
Sure.
Right. The whole thing is like they keep coming back. Like, you can kill your big bad, like Thanos. Yeah, sure, that makes sense.
Sure, you kill the big bad that you built up for so many years.
Not
yes,
Killmonger.
That makes sense to kill it.
Now we got this whole. I'm sorry, we don't go to MCU, but yes, I very much appreciate that the engineer didn't die. Ultraman. Well, we think he might die.
No, the engineer definitely died.
No, I think the engineer died.
Remember, she could turn herself. Nope, she
definitely died.
Hold up,
they said that she wouldn't survive that.
Well, she's made of nanos that she's able to change. Anyways,
the computer people said that she wouldn't be able to survive it, Mark.
I'm going to say this: in the comic book movie, we did not see a dead body or a funeral. So go SCFU. So,
Mark,
and we did get
that.
Fair enough.
I can say that.
Fair enough.
I can say whatever I want, Max.
It's America.
But yes, Ultraman. We're definitely going to have him come back, and he's going to have to be Bizarro, right? Like that's what's going to happen there. Lex is somehow
I
think
that'd be fun.
Mark, I thought it was going to be Henry Cavill too. I thought when his mask came off, it was Henry Cavill.
Right.
Like the first time, I was like,
they knew they couldn't do that. Yeah, it would have been hilarious, but there's no way they could do that.
People would have lost their marbles.
Yeah, it would have been great. People would keep talking about it.
Mark, I feel
back as
Mark,
Bizarro and it's Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do it. I'm going to say that's Bizarro. I think Bizarro comes back, and I think that's Bizarro. I feel confident in saying it. It just makes sense.
It does.
Makes a lot of sense, and it would be
because the guy was already very dumb. Like, so it wouldn't be too hard to like go into a black hole and get even like crazier. So yeah.
Yep.
Or in the lore that you could do with him, where he becomes Bizarro, he ends up on the planet Bizarro or whatever it's called, and that's where he turns into that, being around those beings. And
do you think James Gunn will do an animated Bizarro like show on HBO Max?
That would be awesome. Back? That's how
I mean, that's very a Bizarro show would be very much in James Gunn's like
because just like with Flag,
an animated show.
Because Flag's in that show, the animated show that we already had, that event's already happened in this world, right? Like,
yeah, those are technically DC.
Yeah, like those are canon events that
whatever.
In this universe. So like we're getting to post that show in Flag here. So like you could do the same thing with Bizarro, where it's like here's where it's easier and cheaper to do an animation. You get 8 episodes, and then we'll see him in the live action one day. So.
Right, and like whatever happened, like we just he'll appear in another movie. He won't have that big of a deal. Like it won't be that big of a deal. But
we'll have Corner voice him, and there you go.
Have Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson head on the pike.
What do we think of Ma and Pa Kent?
Oh gosh,
that'd be my only gripe if I had to go 5.99999. Is I felt like they made him too
cancer.
Yeah, there you go. Too hillbilly sounding.
Oh,
Kansas. Way
Mark,
too Kansas.
Mark, we disagree. I think it was one of
Yeah,
the
I
best
disagree
decisions
with you as well.
James Gunn made. I think it was awesome. I loved it.
You okay? Well, great.
I loved it. I think it was great that they were aw shucks people. I think it was a great foil to what his parents were, his biological parents were. They wouldn't hurt anybody, and they're just so like the scene of him and his dad. I wept. It was by far
Right.
my favorite scene in the movie.
Well,
was a
I
good scene.
loved it.
and the part where like he has like 28 missed calls from Monpa, like that is like, oh, these people
Yeah.
clearly love him. Like, and I would say any iteration of Monpa, the parents, they love him anyways. But like that was I think a very good showing. Like, hey, these are people that he loves and respects, and they love and respect him back and care for him.
Yeah,
Well, I think that's the wrinkle, like at the end too, where it's like Superman obviously was neglecting them as his parents for the longest time, like without calling, without going home. Like mom had asked him to come home multiple times, and then at the end we finally get him like, oh wait, these are my parents, and that was the only thing. It's like you got snippets of it, but there wasn't like a huge, I guess, turn for me.
I
Other than
agree.
like, oh wait, my other parents are bad people. I get, well, I have good thing I have these really good parents that actually raised me. It's like, why didn't we see some of, like, I would have been just a little bit some more of that earlier in the film, like
I think it
them
just wasn't
raising him
good.
to be that person.
Fortress of Solitude. The robot says you got a missed call. The mom interrupts him hearing his dad and mom's message.
Sure.
She's talking about craziness. She's like, "Oh, I heard about."
She talks about like Judy at the church or something like
or
like
she's
that.
like, "Oh, I heard you lost your first fight, honey. Are you doing okay? Do you need me
Mm.
anything? Can I make you a dinner tonight?" Like,
yeah.
he's just trying to console him, and then he's like, "Mom, I got to get back to this. Stop." Like, I agree with you, Robbie. I think that needed to be fleshed out a little more. I would agree
Yep.
with that.
That's the
Very
that's
much longer.
it. Like that probably takes the biggest chunk from my rating from giving it a 6. That probably gives it the biggest chunk taken away. It's just like that could have been done better to like, because even without that, the end scene was really really well done. I think. I just think the emotional payoff could have been even more significant at the end.
Look, I love Man of Steel. Man of Steel crushes this movie in that vein, in that specific shade. That's where Man of Steel wins the fight. In my
Do you think it would have been better if one of the parents also sacrificed themselves in a tornado?
in the tornado?
Yeah.
I know you could save me, but don't.
These
I agree,
27 people are gonna see. Maybe.
Yeah, it'd be awful.
This is
and one of them.
I gotta say this. I feel
probably-
like if you had to pick a Superman movie where Smallville would turn into, this is the most Smallville Superman I would probably say.
Yes. That was always my biggest issue with Man of Steel, is that Smallville had like a bank, multiple restaurants, a 7-Eleven. Like, have these people? Yeah, and have these people ever been to small town Kansas? Like, this is not what small town Kansas looks like.
Well, some
there
people
might
think
be a
small
gas
town for
station
20,000
and
people.
4 bars. Like this is not what it looks like. So that was always my big gripe. Like the fight scenes are amazing. Yeah. Don't
Okay,
need to talk
Mark.
about Man of Steel more.
I finally get to let you off the chain, Mark. Mark, the question I think you've been dying to talk about. What is the future of this universe now that this has been established? Maybe that's Supergirl you want to get into. We did have the Peacemaker cameo. The next project's
I'm
coming
gonna be
up.
honest with you. I have no idea where they're going. I couldn't even start to begin to speculate, or I could speculate. I should say that back, because like Supergirl, the little bit we got at the end, where she's like she goes off and parties. Like, is her story going to be like her coming to like she has to be a hero and step up and not be this partier? And like, is Court of Sweat Superman going to be the one that helps her get there? Or are we going to get an off-world thing, and that's where Lobo gets like it'll be Supergirl versus Lobo in a different universe? Like that's our Galaxy piece. Then with the Lanterns, there's like that what we going to get with the Hal Jordan and John Stewart Lanterns. Like that's another Galaxy thing where it's like Gardner is going to stay on Earth, but I feel at some point they're going to kill Guy Gardner, and John Stewart's going to have to take over the mantle for Earth.
Do you think they're killing Guy Gardner, or do you think they'll kill Hal Jordan?
They'll probably kill both, and we'll just left with the greatest Green Lantern of John Stewart. But
come on, that's a good take right there. I like that.
I'm fine with that. Hal
Jordan's just always
my Green
busy doing
Lantern has always. I'll say I've said this a bunch of times in the podcast. My Green Lantern's always been John Stewart.
Yeah, it's John Stewart's.
And when I first saw Hal Jordan in a in one of the cartoons, I was like, wait, Hal Jordan's or Green Lantern's white? Like that was my first reaction as a kid. So I was upset with that.
I feel confident, Mark, in saying Jon Stewart is the Green Lantern of the Infinity Bros podcast.
Well, he's
Oh,
the millennial Green Lantern.
Because we all watched him on. Yeah, we all watched.
On the
What was
Justice
it?
League.
Justice League Unlimited,
Yeah.
or whatever. Like
I think all
Jon
six of
Stewart
us
is
would
our
subscribe to that.
Green Lantern. Like he's our generation's
Yeah.
Green Lantern.
And
so-
for our generation that's paying to go watch these movies, and I think James Gunn understands this, is that's who you make as a Green Lantern, not Hal Jordan.
Or I mean, Cat Jordan is
And-
fun, but
And Aaron Pierre is Jon Stewart, and that's the best
Yeah.
casting, in my
Yeah.
opinion, they've made so far in the DCU.
and okay, whatever other things they've talked about. They've talked about introducing the Flash some point.
Well, can I give you the rundown of projects coming?
Oh
Mark? I
yeah,
have
yeah.
the
I'm
list.
sorry, you were gonna do that. Yes, give me
You're good. No,
projects.
you're good. Peacemaker season 2, obviously.
And I don't think that'll affect the big story. I think that's just gonna push.
Yeah,
his
no,
market.
who cares? That's just for fun.
It's for
Yeah.
fun. It's for us.
Just making sure you hear it.
It's,
Yeah.
it's for us
Supergirl.
diehards.
It turns into
Yeah.
something serious, like Darkseid's involved.
Clayface,
That'll be
September
awesome.
11, 2026.
Okay,
have
hang
no
on.
idea
I
what
gotta
they're
come
gonna
back on the Clayface.
Oh,
This
that's
is
fine.
what I hope they start doing with. If this is what they're gonna do with Batman, if Robert Pattinson's Batman's not gonna be in this universe, this universe you don't do Batman movies. You focus around the villain, but Batman's in the movie. That's what you do. Like the main character is Clayface, but we still have like in this case where Superman is in the Superman movie, Clayface. It will follow me. Clayface is in that role, and then like Lex Luthor is the Batman, where it's like he's more of a side character, but the main character is Clayface. If you follow,
I understand what you're saying. I
I'm all
understand
in.
what you're saying.
I feel like
don't-
that was a
yeah.
lot of word salad. I felt,
It'd be interesting.
yeah, if that was the route they
It'd be
went.
interesting to see how they do it. Yeah.
You would think a Clayface would involve Batman at some point.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
James Gunn talked about Sergeant Rock. It's a war film adaptation directed by Luca Guadagnino, excuse me.
That's a
the
deep
cast
cut
is still underway
DC
there.
thing if they do Sergeant
Yeah.
Rock. That is.
So I wonder if they did
Man.
Sergeant Rock with Sergeant Rock. Oh, that'd be too far. I was gonna say, would that be how they tie in the first? When they first found a meta-human 300 years ago, but that would be too far.
Yeah, that wouldn't be far enough.
Yeah.
You then have the Batman Part 2, obviously Matt Reeves. Robert
Have
Pattinson,
they said
that's
is
up
Batman
there.
Part 2
Yeah.
actually
Is that going to be part of this?
I
They
don't know.
initially
Like,
said Elseworlds, and then it seems like they
I wanna
backtracked
talk-
on that.
yeah, I want to talk Batman here in a little bit because I think it's its own conversation. So,
Okay,
sure.
any Batman thoughts, hold those to the side. There's been some other ones that have been rumors or in development. So you've got the Authority. It's based on the Wildstorm
Which,
superhero
hang on,
team.
who's in the Authority, who is dead per Max, the engineer.
Okay. Anyway, Swamp Thing, directed by James Mangold. You have an untitled Teen Titans film. There's been
Whoa.
rumors of an untitled Bane and Deathstroke film. There's been rumors of an untitled Wonder Woman film, and then
hang on,
of course,
you just went right over it. There's rumors that we're going to get a Teen Titans movie before we get.
it's a rumor. This is
Okay,
a rumor.
okay.
I'm not saying it's just. There's been rumors.
Okay.
But then obviously the other big one was the Brave and the Bold, the Batman Robin film that Andy Muschietti was in
Yeah.
talks to do. That was part
Do you
of the
think
DC
that Batman
continuity.
Robin will have nipples on their costumes?
We can only
Hard
hope.
to say.
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
Hard to
I-
say.
I guess
Sure.
here's my question on the Batman thing. Do we think James Gunn looks at this and goes, you know what? Let's just get Robert Pattinson in that role. Let's sidestep it and let's do it.
I think Robert Pattinson's a great Batman, and Bruce Wayne. I think he would fit as much as I want.
Does it work in this universe?
See, now that's a great question. Like this, okay, this would be the big question. Do you want both young Superman and Batman that grow old together? So like they're
Yes.
kind of the same age, or do we want like getting Alan Richardson, so someone who just looks a little bit older and has been around the game, or we get both fresh guys that have only been really doing this for the last 3 years and they have to do it together, and that's the catalyst of the Justice League is like
Yes. And
we don't know what we're really doing. We're young. We need to get together. That's the realization is like, hey, we got to rely on each other to help
if
the
I
world.
if I could have the same question that you gave Mark, Max, is where are we heading? It's Dark Side War.
Oh,
And
so good.
Dark Side War is the New 52 is their first big
Yep.
showing, and I think it's so hard not to see New 52 when watching just this film and seeing what James Gunn is doing, especially then going to the Green Lantern Corps and like checking them out, doing their thing for allowing them to come back, and then having a Batman, whether it's Pattinson or another younger actor, but like and a Superman working together and like having to like deal with that. I think where this is heading is Dark Side War, and I think that's like if I don't think there's much of a match Marvel anymore because like Marvel kind of did their biggest thing and now they're trying to regrow and come back with another big thing. But I don't think they have to worry about trying to match what Marvel's doing, and I think that's why they're taking their time. But I think in the next I don't know decade, like we're going to eventually get to the Dark Side War, and that's going to be a part one, part two thing, and that's where all of these heroes are finally like we already know that some heroes are already working together, but like the heroes that haven't worked together, just know about each other, are going to finally collide.
I think Darkseid has to be DC's version of Thanos, to forgive the comparison there.
Well,
but I
Darkseid
think
is
that's what
Marvel's version.
He's based on them, right? Yeah, I got it. I'm more so saying like I think for the sake of film, it just makes sense that it's Darkseid, and it was the one thing that the Justice League movies never got to. That would have
really
been
another,
cool.
like,
Well, they did.
They almost did it.
They did it. They did it.
So what's going to be
did they
the
do
big
it?
plus for this Warner Brothers DC movement is there's only two people that have a say in what's going on with Saffron and right. That's the other guy's name.
Yep.
Gunn. It's just like it is over at Marvel right now, where it's just basically Feige, and then he has his troops under him. So like, and that's what I think killed the Snyderverse is there was too many people having their.
Well, it was just Warner Bros. Just doing all their BS.
Where I think this is going to be the benefit. And yes, going back to even going off of that. Yeah, some people might say, "Oh, why would you do Darkseid when they tried to do that?" It's like, well, name another big bad villain that would need everyone involved, off the top of your head, for DC besides Darkseid. Like Brainiac might be another one.
Brainiac, yeah. I mean, a lot of them are
Starro,
Superman villains,
but we already kind of got that in the Suicide Squad movie. So,
and Starro's such a silly villain.
And you could get
like,
Doomsday.
Well, they already did Starro.
But we were, well, that's what I'm saying. They already did it in Suicide Squad. Where it's like, I think if they go the right track, Darkseid who you want to be the big bad here.
Because you could do Lex Luthor again. Because Lex Luthor has there's a few arcs where he becomes he usually uses other villains as like things to get in the way. Yeah, but he's like he's the guy pulling the strings. So maybe that's what they go with, because Lex is obviously going to be very, very pissed, even more than he is now. So yeah, but it has to be.
And the scenario could be what pushes Lex to try to reach out to space to find something that could really kill Superman, and Darkseid would be that.
Well, and the big connection that I make for Darkseid is Supergirl. Like you talk about Supergirl going to space, like Darkseid is out there looking for Kryptonians, right. Like in DC lore. One of the first comic books I ever read was the Batman Superman comics, where Supergirl basically becomes like Darkseid's like chick,
right?
Kind of. And that comic is amazing. But if you could tie that in some way and you make a Superman Batman movie that way, then you have something like special, actually. But we'll see.
And then also,
you think we get Batman in the Mobius chair
too?
No, that's stupid.
Are we talking about Lobo or Batman in the Mobius chair?
Batman in the Mobius chair is stupid.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. I was talking about Lobo's. That's another character that's been cast in this universe. So
I know. I was just saying, like, if it's Darkseid War, that was like one of the big things that happened in that was. This was more so making a joke to.
Wasn't that after? No, that was way after. The Mobius chair's way after.
Wasn't it the end of it? Wasn't it the end of it? They did it?
No, I don't think so. Am I thinking wrong?
So what's so great about this though is you could tell this 10-year story, like Robbie's saying, and you end it with the Darkseid thing, and then we have the kind of just like the amazing, 12 years we got with the animated universe, and you end it with a Flash going back in time. Yeah, maybe that could be your Flashpoint, and then you actually do Flashpoint, and then he has to do it again, and then you just restart the universe with the brand new people. You literally could do that forever.
Keep doing that every 10 years, 12 years. Yeah, let's hit it up.
I just don't know how you do a Flash movie without doing time travel at this point. It's kind of weird. And they kind of burned it on. They've made on that Flash movie.
Yeah, they've heard it a little bit, but I think if you did Darkseid War, and then make it very traumatic for Barry Allen or Wally West, whoever they decide to go with, because who knows at this point. Make it very traumatic for them to push them to that. That's how you could then make, because then you don't have to go just one Flashpoint movie. You could do multiple Flashpoint movies and make that your next. That's your next decade of movies is Flashpoint and all these characters now reversing who they were in the other films.
What are the odds we get the Syndicate, and the Syndicate, their Superman?
That's another thing I was thinking about.
Is like Henry Cavill, and like their Batman is like, you could bring back the old Justice League for that, and I think that would be insanely, like, it would just be insane.
The multiverse,
Ben Affleck would come back for that. I think.
Yeah, I think the multiverse race right now for Marvel and DC is who's going to do that first. Like
and
to me,
they're doing the crossover again, DC and Marvel. So like, what's to stop them that in 10 years?
When does it? Yeah, what is 10 years? Both of them look at each other like, we need another crazier thing.
I'll say this right now. If that happens, then this whole Superman thing is 100% dead at that point. That is the nail in the coffin, that this has turned into the Westerns and it is no longer the thing. If they have to pull that out, I've said this. I said this years ago, that superhero movies are going the way of the Westerns. There's just so much of it that it's become such a, like, even looking at the Superman numbers, like they're kind of a win, like 220 million for the weekend. Like it's kind of a win because it's the most for a Superman movie, but it barely beat out Man of Steel from over a decade ago.
Well, and James Gunn, even on the tour right now, has been noted for saying there's not superhero fatigue, there's just poor filmmaking fatigue. And I think there is a lot of these. I would disagree. I would be inclined.
I think it's more of an economic.
I think if you go online, people will say there is superhero fatigue.
Well, I don't think those same people are going out to see these movies, though. I think it's an economic thing, and people not wanting to go to the movie theater anymore because it's so expensive.
Could be.
When it takes 3 weeks for it to come out onto your TV at home,
and people will be like, "I'll just wait a month and see it on digitally."
Yeah.
And then there's also this. I think this is another avenue. I think in the movie industry don't understand is COVID kind of broke the chain for us to go to movies. And then also the people who saw the movies 10 years ago, who are us, now are probably with families and 3 kids, so we don't have time to go to see the movie in the theater. Mm-hmm. There's also that. So, and then the generation that
Jurassic World came out 2 weeks ago, made 318 million, almost 100 million more than Superman.
You didn't let me finish. And then
I know, but I'm just saying, like, I'm just throwing that out there. Like, we're making all these excuses for why Superman didn't do crazy numbers. Jurassic World a week ago did better.
I don't know, Robbie. Then you go up to James Gunn and be like, "I need to take over." You use your clout.
I'm not. I just think. I think there is more. I think we have to be open to the idea that there is more superhero fatigue than there has been in the past, and I think it is because Marvel did such a good job, and then they stuck the landing, but then had nowhere to go after sticking the landing.
I'll be interested to see how Fantastic Four does, because
I will too, and I think that'll be a good measuring stick for this.
That'll be the measuring stick for this whole conversation, because I think Superman does have a hill to climb. A lot of people liked Man of Steel. The Justice League thing didn't work well. Marvel's kind of flopping right now, so maybe there's also like their struggles are bleeding into DC, just because people aren't fully aware of what the difference between those two are. I think it'll all be there. But what did you think of this movie? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Email us at theinfinitybrospodcast@gmail.com, or just shoot us a message on one of our social media platforms. Robbie, thank you for coming by today and joining us.
You're welcome.
Mark, thank you for coming by and joining us as well.
I'm always very happy to come with you guys. So I'm glad to be here coming again with you guys.
Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you guys soon. We love you guys 3000. See ya. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Infinity Bros podcast. You can find the Infinity Bros on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube at the Infinity Bros. You can also check out our website at theinfinitybros.com for links, reviews, and sweet merch. Feel free to send listener feedback via social media or email at infinitybrospodcast@gmail.com.